Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Reach coming to you. In this video, so we'll be talking about the video Matt Hardy put up, apologizing to everybody, saying that his reasons for why he put up the video that everybody took as his video that people thought he was going to commit suicide. Um, I watched the video was put up on Tuesday, pretty much right when SmackDown ended. Right when I first saw it, my first thoughts was that it was some sort of work on the fans, but it was a work, to the point where people thought that he was going to kill himself, which really wasn't cool. I don't see how he would look at it any other way. Um, he said that he was writing in a journal when he was in the hospital because he's been in 4 accidents over the last period of time, and that he's suffered brain damage, and that he was just writing down his thoughts, and that's where he came up with the words that he um, basically said that he was leaving and this, that, and the other. His time on Earth was almost done. Basically, I think that was all bullshit. I think he took what he wrote in that first video and he wrote around it, just trying to make it sound better. I think this was nothing more than damage control. Um, and this is a guy that I just completely have just lost everything for. This was a guy that I was the biggest fan in the world of. I've said before that when this guy won the U.S. title and when he won the ECW title, this it was like as a fan, it was like a personal victory of mine. I watched this guy come up as a jobber, with him and his brother. I mean, just pulling jobs on TV, and they were two guys that just surprisingly stood out. When they got their first win over Kai and Tai, it was just like, wow. I mean, it was a you know it was a big moment. It was like when the other jobber beat Chris Candido. It was just crazy. It was just like, wow. I mean, like, it was just a moment that you just couldn't believe. And then they went to, basically take the tag divisions to new heights that it had never been before. They worked awesome with guys like the Dudleys, the Hardys. They just changed everything with the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian. Even throw in the New Age Outlaws, who get forgotten about in that tag team time a lot. Um, it's just crazy that YouTube, ruined this guy's career. I mean, even he had an awesome program with MVP. That was the last good thing he did in WWE. And unfortunately, it was his stomach, his insides just weren't working well. He's said that many a times, that just basically everything on his inside exploded and they had to go in and fix him. It was like a hernia operation that it started out with, and then they just ended up fixing all his intestines as well. And that's when the fat Hardy thing started. And I even stood through him on there, and I just thought he would work harder and he would get into shape. But instead, he just took the negativity and he turned it into, you can say, he just rolled that into just creating this new character of fighting against the internet fans that didn't like him anymore. Um, and then he just started, he got to the point where when Jeff re-signed with TNA, he went back over there during the start of I guess you can say, the Monday Night Wars that really didn't work out well for TNA. He was one of the big acquisitions they brought in when they brought in Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Hardy came along, Rob Van Dam was another guy, Mr. Kennedy, and it looked really, really good for TNA. And I think he thought the grass was greener on the other side, so he left WWE and he went over to TNA, and it looked like it was going to work out well for this guy, but he never really hit the ground running right. I think he was fighting with the fans. I think it was dumb that he posted on Twitter that he was at the Impact Zone for his debut, when he was a surprise special opponent. He was supposed to get this special big thing, but because just like what happened with the tapings last week, TNA was saying that he was a surprise, and it was a question mark on who was going to face Rob Van Dam, but instead he went on Twitter and blabbed. So TNA had to leak it out. I mean, if they were really going to bring him in and they wanted the people to know about it, they could have done it earlier, and they could have had more of a response for it. But his character just never really got over. He never got running right. He never got to be the world champion that he thought he deserved to be, and because he lives his life out of control, He got fired for DUI, and it just spiraled out of control, and that's why he's saying he's retiring from professional wrestling. But when it really comes down to it, that's what professional wrestlers say when they can't get work. He's not retired, he's unemployed. And he's at the point now where he's lived his life so recklessly that it's going to be a long time before somebody picks him up. So, he says that he's not going to be working as a full-time wrestler because he's only going to be able to work, independents here and there along the way. Maybe somebody from Japan will give him a shot and he'll be able to go over there for a 15, 30-day tour or something like that. But that's going to be Jeff Hardy's life. Oh, I'm sorry, that's going to be Matt Hardy's life for the next year. It just makes no sense to that why this guy fell so hard. But you can honestly say that, his career fell faster than about anybody in professional wrestling. If he would have just stayed put in WWE and just kept his mouth shut and worked hard, who knows what could have happened. I mean, we saw this year that Christian became a world heavyweight champion, and have an awesome feud with Randy Orton. Matt Hardy easily could have got that spot if he was there. You know that WWE likes to reward loyalty, and when Edge was in his spot where he had to retire, they had to pick somebody out of the crowd to replace him. And both those guys are two guys that have the same history pretty much. Christian is a little bit closer to Edge, so they were able to use that friendship sort of angle on it. But it easily could have been Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy easily could have became a main eventer this year, with the loss of Edge and the loss of many other guys that he's gone through. It could have easily pushed this guy up the rank, and I think that isn't helping his situation that little bit at all. To look back on this jump at TNA and just say what could have been if I would have stayed. So I don't know. That's it. That's my thoughts on Matt Hardy. I really look down on this because it just hurts me so bad that I used to like this guy so much. When he was a mid-carder, I looked at him as one of my favorite wrestlers, and I feel bad that I bought the merch. I feel bad that everything happened because it's just like, it's a waste. It's a guy now that I think it's to be way too hard for me to even look at this guy as a fan. If he has some big, great moment, it's going to be really hard for me to look at it and feel happy for him just because how bad he slapped us in the face when he jumped over and just played every one of his fans. He played us like a fiddle. But that's about it.